What in tarnation?
I meant to do that.
Howdy folks, this is Applegeek, and here we are with Season 9, Episode 23, the final episode before the big series finale. It has been quite an interesting road these past 4 years getting to this point. I'm not going to dive into any big speeches right now, it's time for that later, but yeah, this season has shaped up to be one of the best of the entire series. I haven't really thought about it much for, like, is it the best one? But it's right up there with Season 7. So, yeah, I'm interested to see what's in this final episode here. The final before the finale, like I said. Curious to see if we get any more wish list items checked off my list here before this is all said and done. So, anyway, let's give it a watch and find out. Without any further ado, Episode 23, starting now.
I just wanted everything
Hi,
to
Spike.
be perfect. I mean, this was a big deal. But when Discord insists on being involved...
This is an interesting format.
Of what Spike
Discord!
Say, that little dragon begged me to help. And let me tell you, he can cause plenty of chaos all on his purple lonesome.
I pride myself
This
on
is
being
cake.
under pressure, but I just... Oh, dear.
You'd think we'd be used to stuff like this.
CMCs?
I still have nightmares.
I like this interview format thing.
It seemed simple
This...
when it started. It's beautiful.
Fancy gem? Or wait. Wait. Oh!
Eat it.
Eat what? I want to see. No. Why not?
Because you have a big mouth.
Me? I keep tons of secrets.
It's happening!
Like fluttering the fear of clowns. Or that time I caught Twilight sleep-trotting from...
I was not disappointed.
Oh, and
Well,
did you know
we'll
that
see.
Octavia went on a date with bulk biceps? Talk about an odd couple. I heard that... Oh, all right. Point taken. But we're pals, right? Comrades. Amigos. Come
The three amigos.
on.
Nice.
Big
How is she-
Mac is going
Oh.
to propose to Sugar Bell. Sugar Bell. Sugar Bell.
Oh no! Discord! Quiet! I was just like, how is she gonna wear that thing? But I guess she can wear it on her horn, maybe? She's unicorn. Oh, this is gonna be good. Oh. This better not be some sort of like a big bait and switch, like at the end they're gonna cancel it for some reason. I swear, if that happens...
Of course Big Mac asked me to help with his proposal. I'm the most romantic dragon I know.
It really is a curse having infinite powers.
The Big Mac
Everyone
question.
Tony is always asking you to move a couch or help with a proposal.
It's kind of two different realms of
Every detail.
things.
Don't leave anything out.
Oh, do we have to hear all the details?
Yes.
Is that like a friend thing?
Yes!
Yep. I don't talk much, so I want to show Sugar Bell how committed I am. First,
You're making a picnic table that matches the shelf you made Sugar Bell for her shop when you had a crush on her, and you're setting up a romantic meal overlooking Sweet Apple Acres?
yep.
How did you figure that out?
Wow.
If you were a hopeless romantic, you'd know that was the only logical choice.
Then,
Again, it's like pinky level awareness.
You painted apples to leave around Ponyville with little riddles tied to the stem that will lead her up here to meet you?
yep.
Seriously?
Now,
Yeah.
Oh, I know. You need a giant rhino named Dolores who can knit a romantic sweater for two.
No.
Come on.
Somebody needs to make that sweater.
That was a gimme.
That hand is...
I do not get this game.
Okay, you finish your table, I'll pick up whatever you need to eat, and Discord would put all the apples in place.
I will?
yep.
Well, you can do it with a snap of your fingers, so yeah, see? Goat and chicken. Alright. See, Big Mac is quite the romantic, isn't he?
Corner, look for your next clue. Red, delicious, sweet like you.
Oh.
Find it, you'll know what to do. He should stick to bucking apples.
Sugar Bell's gonna love it.
I don't know, they got any maple trees out on the
I'll get the food.
on the Sweet
How
Apple
long will it
Acres?
take you to place all the apples?
Big Mac's got an awful lot of sap going here.
You sure you put them in the right spots?
Those terrible riddles on the apples were very clear on the location. I'm sure that they were
Really?
placed properly. I think, maybe. Does it matter?
Yes, it does.
Okay, fine. I'll double check.
Okay, what's going on here?
She didn't see the apples. What are we gonna do?
Uh-oh.
Well, we could just give it to her.
That's not romantic. She needs to discover it.
Don't be such a drama dragon. I've precipitated liquid cocoa on Equestria and herded long-limbed Leporidae. I can certainly make a pony see an
Season
apple.
2 callback. Liquid cocoa. Chocolate rain.
Hey, Mrs. Cake. I need to pick up a few things.
Oh, I'm afraid you'll have to wait. I'm a bit busy at the moment. Oh, is this sour cream or sweet cream?
Well, it's kind of important. Maybe I could take some of these off your hooves?
No! Those are for something important, too.
All of them? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes, all of them.
Who needs 21 desserts?
I can't tell you. It's a secret.
Sugar Bell's gonna propose to him too!
Why not?
I can't tell you. It's a secret.
Put the vanilla in it.
Ugh, it's
sour
someone
cream.
else make these?
No. Why?
No reason.
Hey, Rose. Oh man, this is gonna go all kinds of pear-shaped. Pun partially intended.
Thank you. These are perfect.
Missed another apple!
You know, if she's too busy to read the horribly written clues, maybe you should just tell her.
Oh no. Oh, this won't end well.
Listen up.
Oh no.
Each of you has a job to do. Take a look at your stems. Tell me about it. But regardless, go to your designated location, deliver your messages, and make me proud. Dismissed. I just have to say, Big Mac is really lucky to have me as a friend.
And she's gonna find the locals inside the desserts.
1 down, 20 to go. Then I can help you.
Maybe I can help you. Delivering parchments is my thing. A little dragon breath and whoosh. We deliver each scroll into each dessert. Then you can help me.
Oh.
Ta-da!
Oh no. I don't think those were meant to be creme brulees, so yeah.
The next apple is at the boutique.
Oh no. Did I just see what I thought I saw?
Take a right. The next apple sits in plain sight.
Hey, Grandpere.
What in the blazes is going on?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Oh, are you finally finished? I've been done for a while.
Oh, there's burnt oak again. All that
You know,
there.
Mac, I probably could have been clearer which pony to deliver the messages
I expect to see
to.
Mayor,
You think?
and yeah, expect callbacks here.
I sent them back to Sweet Apple Acres. Apples are terrible at taking directions. Couldn't even manage to stay in one location. Now bananas, whoa, are much better at listening.
Why?
What's going on?
Apples running everywhere and she didn't see the poem to get to the hilltop?
Getting her to the hilltop is easy. And not seeing the poems is actually a blessing when you think about it.
Nah.
Why do you think
A little late there, Discord.
combined desserts would work? You've ruined all of them!
Oh
To
no.
be honest, I tasted some, and burning them might have been an improvement.
What? I never.
Spike.
Oh, hey there,
Wow.
Big Mac. I bet you're wondering what...
Sugar Belle.
Big Mac?
Uh-oh.
Discord.
Mrs. K!
What did I do?
Nothing.
Yeah.
I thought we were just saying each other's names.
I guess this can't get any worse.
Never
For Lord
say
of
that.
I'd advise against saying things like that.
Exactly. I was just gonna say, where are the CMCs? Oh no! Oh no! They've mutated.
We have a bit of a reputation for getting carried away.
You think?
When romance is involved. But that wasn't the case with this. We were just helping Sugar Belle with her plan.
Love poison anyone?
And the last one should just say, yeah.
Yep. No, it's yup.
Want to put each one of those inside a dessert.
Well, since Big Mac's plan to send me a Hearts and Hooves Day pie with the message inside didn't go so well, I thought it'd be fun to do it right.
Ah.
Oh, that's so romantic! He's a pony of few words. I love that about him. So
Aw.
I thought I'd use as many words as possible to propose to him. All he has to say is...
Yup.
I can't wait for you to be a part of the family. You three played such a big part in Big Mac and I getting together. I'm glad you could help with this. I love you, Big Mac. Would you like to spend the rest of our lives together? I hope you say yup. And each word has to go into a dessert? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Wow.
21, I know!
Actually, it's 22.
Huh?
Mrs. Cake was kind enough to help me bake all the apple-flavored treats I made to get Big Mac to visit me in my old shop. But that one has the invitation for him to come here.
Oh, it's no bother. I do love a challenge. Should I add the sugar to this one or to that one?
I've never seen Mrs. Cake quite so frazzled here.
Sugar to that bowl 6 times so far.
That's a
You
lot of
three go
sugar.
deliver that pie. I have to get some flowers to spruce the place up. Uh-oh, Spike and Discord are outside. If
I
they
love
know
seeing this from
we're
different
up to, they'll
angles.
Spill the beans, and I want this to be a surprise.
And yoink!
I don't think they suspect anything. Why would they suspect that we're holding an invitation pie and that Mrs. Cake is baking a 21 dessert proposal? I can't believe I'm gonna have a sister-in-law!
Apple blue.
This is our shot to make up for all the trouble we caused when Big Mac first asked Sugar Belle out. We can't give away the surprise.
Yeah, let's not forget that.
Play it cool. Right. How's this? Better? Come on, let's go. Find your...
How you doing? I'm sorry.
Nope.
I couldn't.
Big Mac!
Now I'm half expecting Featherbangs to show up at some point.
Hold on. That looks just like the shelf Big Mac
Oh.
made for Sugar Belle.
Mm-hmm.
Weird. Maybe we should wait here for him.
Very detailed
He's bound
blueprints,
to
by the
show up
way.
soon. You know, when I'm looking for something, Granny says it's best to check the least likely place. Come on.
Uh-oh.
Screwdriver.
Oh, Lebowski ponies again.
Big Mac!
Oh! Yeah. Not here. Oh.
Big Mac!
And they all wake. Oh.
Big Mac!
Why would you think
Well,
Big Mac is in the
we're supposed to
spot?
propose to Big Mac if we can't even find him. Mrs. Cake isn't finished yet. We still have time. You know, when I'm looking for some pony, best to just stay in one place. Let's head back to the farm and wait. Big Mac is sure to show up soon.
Oh boy.
Well, don't just stand there. Come on.
And, oh! Oh no! And when I first saw those things, I was thinking this is going to be like Parasprites, but maybe even worse.
Yep.
Oh, that picnic table's adorable. And Granny?
Who goes there?
Wow!
Big Mac? Oh,
Should have seen that coming.
there, little dumpling. I just had the most peculiar dream. That's nice, Granny, but we really need to find Big Mac, so... It was about Grandpa, but it wasn't. And we were in outer space on some kind of mission to explore a strange new world. Stop listening to Granny. You'll never find Big Mac. Brian was there, being as logical as ever. But his ears was all corny like, and then Discord showed up, and, well, you know, it's pretty much the same. Once she gets going, there's nothing in Equestria that can stop her.
Genius! Genius references! Thank you for that!
Are you sure about that?
Oh boy.
Oh, hey there, Big Mac. I bet you're wondering what...
Sugar Belle.
Big Mac?
And now we've seen both sides.
Mrs. Cake.
What did I do?
Nothing.
Nothing. I thought we were just saying each other's names.
I guess this can't get any worse.
As the Lord of Chaos, I'd advise against saying things like that.
Exactly.
It's coming! Save yourself!
Oh no. When's the last time I've seen Granny run that fast? Or ever? Oh boy.
Why does every pony immediately assume that this has something to do with me?
I wonder why.
I love to grow like an apple tree. So let me ask, will you marry me?
Okay, but to be fair, the message did get the Sugar Belle.
Oh, such a special
You
moment
twisted to
ruined.
make it seem like it was all my fault, which it wasn't.
Wait, so you two were orchestrating a proposal? That's what I was doing!
Who are you proposing to?
Discord!
Me?
I love you. I love you.
Thank you.
So the messages that were in the desserts...
Were Sugar Belle's proposal to Big Mac? Of course Mike set them on fire!
Oh, so I'm not the only one who messes things up, am I, Mr.
Well, no, he's got a point.
Mighty Dragon?
Hey, those desserts were ruined way before I ruined them.
Oh.
They were not! Well, I may have mixed up a few ingredients. It was such a rush.
You should both be very...
Where is Pinky to help for this when you need her?
yourselves.
What about you and your apple monster?
Yes, but you all expect
Speaking of which, there's
that
none of the
me.
main six in here.
All we wanted to do was make up for messing things up the last time. Sugar Belle, Big Mac, we're really... Where'd they go?
Oh no!
Okay, this time it really wasn't me.
I shouldn't have taken all
Did they
those
just
risks
elope?
at once. It's
Oh,
just
no.
easy to say no to such a sweet idea. Oh, sweet! I made a joke.
Huh.
In retrospect, Dragon Flame and baked goods aren't the best combo.
Nah.
We felt like it was all our fault. Except for the apple monster. That was Discord.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Cake messing up those recipes, and Spike burning the messed up recipes, and... The point is, we all felt bad for ruining Big Mac and Sugar Belle's proposals. Was all green, and then Grandpa looked at me all dramatical and says, where no pony has gone before. Away we flew. Today was interesting.
This is great! This is awesome!
You okay?
I'm sorry, Sugar Belle. I wanted everything to go right today. I wanted our love to be as perfect as my parents was when they planted these two trees together. Instead, it turned into a mess, just like when I asked you out Just like Hearts and Hooves Day, no matter how hard I try, I always seem to mess up when it comes
It's
to you.
not your fault.
I think you've got things backwards.
What do you mean?
From everything you told me about your parents, they had to deal with things a lot tougher than some burnt desserts and an apple monster.
Yes, that's true.
This apple tree and pear tree are stronger together. They'll survive whatever comes because they don't have to do it alone. They belong together, like your parents and like us.
Yep.
Today was a disaster.
That's so...
Today was also the last day we're ever gonna have to do anything apart. From here on out, we'll be together. And we'll make sure everything always works out just right.
Sugar Bill,
Will
will
you?
you?
One, sir.
On 3,
Sure. 1.
2,
Will you marry me? Yep.
Oh, okay.
We'll have to thank our friends for messing up so bad that they made it all work out.
Well, we've all made up. And this time, thanks to me, we got it right. So why don't you two, you know...
I think they did okay without us.
Yeah.
And that's how we were responsible for the perfect proposal.
Yeah.
Or should I say, hair proposal. Messed up so bad.
I knew there was gonna be one of those in there.
The way it did.
It's just like baking. Sometimes it's the mistakes that help you discover something truly special.
And when all the planning and grand gestures go wrong, it reminds you the most romantic things are usually the simplest.
Which is what I
Happy
knew
little
all
accidents.
along. You're welcome.
I didn't think we were gonna get to actually see it. Oh my god, double time party favor.
It is my sincere pleasure to say, for my second Apple family wedding, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
That's your cue.
Happy marriage, happy apples, happy marriage.
Discord.
Just let me have this one.
Happy marriage, happy apples, happy marriage, happy apples.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, didn't get any more flashbacks that had long hope, but this was enough. This was amazing. Alright. Be right back. Stay tuned. Well, it finally happened. They have been building towards this moment for Big Mac for so long. This goes all the way back to Hearts and Hooves Day in Season 2, where Big Mac got briefly paired up with Cheerilee, thus beginning the Big Mac shipping scenarios. Then there was Marble Pie in Hearthbreakers in Season 5. Then Sugar Belle entered the picture in Hard to Say Anything in Season 7. And shortly thereafter, we had the privilege of witnessing one of the greatest episodes ever. Pretty much the greatest episode ever. The Perfect Pair. That I felt like really set the stage for what might be coming down the road with Big Mac and Sugar Belle a little bit. And it became clear that the relationship with Sugar Belle was more serious than the others when she was briefly seen visiting Sweet Apple Acres in It Isn't the Main Thing About You. Then, in Season 8, the relationship definitely began progressing in the Breakup Breakdown, where the Sugar Bells actually moving to Ponyville from our town, with being closer to Big Mac most likely being a significant contributing factor to that decision. And another moment of affection was teased in Marks for Effort, where it became clear that Big Mac couldn't wait to finish his chores so he could go spend time with Sugar Belle. Honestly, they both couldn't wait to spend time with each other the way it looked. And then, radio silence. Aside from a brief cameo of them standing together near the end of The Last Crusade. Now, unless I'm forgetting something else, there was quite a long period of time in there without any more appearances or hints at, progression of that relationship. I had a feeling that with all the build-up on this, there was no way the series could actually end without something more happening between the two, be it a marriage or an actual breakup or something, but... And I had serious doubts about them actually breaking up, at least not by their own choice. But the absence of Sugar Belle was a little bit concerning there for a while. I just really wanted to see this particular story thread followed through on, or else we'd be left wondering for forever whether or not Big Mac finally managed to find his special sun pony for life, after all the time that it's been teased all these years. Fortunately, I got my wish. I may not have gotten all my wishes checked off, but this was a huge one. And I had no idea how it would actually happen, and I thought maybe it'd even be part of the finale storyline in some way, but I love the fact that it got to happen in a standalone episode like this, so as to not take anything away from this truly special moment. And it really was a special moment, despite everything that went wrong. In fact, I'd say the series of unfortunate events actually kind of made it even more special. And yes, the events certainly were unfortunate. Were they preventable? Perhaps, as there was a bit of fault on multiple fronts here. To start with, Discord. Discord is definitely improving in terms of being a friend, but he still has little ways to go. Clearly, he can keep at least some secrets, with the revelations about Twilight sleep trotting and Octavia going on a date with bulk biceps. I really want to know what happened there. Certainly those are certainly some stories that he would have had fun telling about. It didn't reveal them, at least until now. But then he practically announced the engagement of Big Mac and Sugar Belle to all of Equestria. But that said, I'd like to point out that him shouting it to the world without thinking, Sorry, got ahead of myself here. He seemed genuinely surprised and happy to learn about this engagement, and thus he, shouted it to the world. And I think you could argue that speaks to just how good of a friend he's actually become. In the past, he was only really interested in things that personally amused him, things that are for his own enjoyment. And now he's showing that he can be happy and excited for good things that are happening to his friends. And I'm sure there's been, other similar situations and stuff with Discord. I haven't really taken time to go back and do an in-depth analysis on his character progression throughout the show, but it's just something that I observed in this moment here that I really thought was interesting. Unfortunately, he still fell short when it came to actually helping Big Mac with his elaborate proposal scheme, and rather than just playing along and helping as best as he could, he took kind of the easy way out and involved the use of his chaos magic to distribute the apples around town, which of course took a wrong turn once they started terrorizing the town and turning into that monster. If he hadn't been so hung up on his disgust for Big Mac's kind of sappy and over-elaborate proposal method, and had just done his best to help out as directed, maybe things wouldn't have gotten quite so crazy. All that said, I do still give him credit for actually making the effort to try and help out, because he could have opted to just do nothing but sit back and watch the mess unfold. Spike also got in a little bit of trouble here when he tried to help hurry things along at Sugar Cube Corner, kind of rushing Mrs. Cake, who was already rushed, and ended up using his magic message delivery fire to put Sugar Belle's notes into the desserts. Because he was in such a rush and looking for ways to cut corners, he didn't think about the possibility that his fire could end up ruining the desserts. Of course, at least some of the desserts were kind of already ruined simply due to Mrs. Cake making mistakes with the recipes as she was rushing to make all of them in time for Sugar Belle's plan to actually play out. I don't really know why neither Mr. Cake nor Pinkie Pie were around to help her out at all, but regardless, she was clearly a little in over her head there, and should have enlisted some more help somehow to maintain her quality standards. After all, I'm sure she would have felt absolutely horrible if Big Mac had actually been forced to eat all those desserts that she had made that tasted terrible. And, Sugar Belle herself actually contributed to the problem too, unknowingly, by hatching her own over-elaborate proposal scheme and asking far too much of Mrs. Cake to deliver in such a short amount of time, in all honesty. Of course, the concept of the plan itself was incredibly romantic and shows just how much she cared about Big Mac, to the point where she actually was trying to relieve him of the burden of having to come up with his own proposal speech when she knows he doesn't like to talk a whole lot. And in fact, that's one of the things she very much likes about him. Unfortunately, the plan still had flaws, including the sheer number of desserts that Big Mac would have had to eat, which likely would have made him sick, for one thing, not to mention the fact that he could have quite easily eaten the messages hidden inside of them without even realizing it. So that could have created some problems too. There are many times where we get ideas like that, where at first we're like, hey, that's a great idea, we should totally do that. And then we go to actually do them, and we realize, yeah, never mind, that's not really going to work out very well. I really appreciate what Sugar Belle was trying to do here, but she really should have kept it a little bit more simple, direct, and to the point. And if she had, then maybe she wouldn't have missed the messages that Big Mac was also trying to give her via the apples spread around town. In fact, that advice honestly goes for both of them, and frankly, they both should have known better. Big Mac kind of went nuts in our town back in Hard to Say Anything, going to ridiculously elaborate lengths to try and win her affection while competing with Featherbangs. And in the end, it was the simple, straightforward things that meant the most to her, like building that cabinet for her in her bakery. Of course, to be fair, that's basically what he was going to do here as well, by building that matching picnic table. But it probably would have helped if he found a much more direct means of getting her to come out to the farm for the surprise. But again, I do understand the desire for romance on both of their parts. Sometimes romance requires a little bit more of an elaborate plan to really make a moment special, and had only one or the other of them been trying to pull off their plan at a time, then things probably would have gone a lot better. It was both of them getting their wires crossed with two elaborate plans being executed simultaneously that kind of caused things to descend into chaos. Or at least it was a significant contributing factor. As for the CMCs, well, I'm actually having trouble finding much fault on their part in this, for once. Their only real involvement here seemed to be getting the initial pie to Big Mac to start him on the hunt for the rest of the message from Sugar Belle, and the only problem they really had was tracking him down to actually give him that pie. I do appreciate the fact that they felt partially responsible for the whole mess, especially because they were just trying to make up for all the trouble that they've caused Big Mac in the past when trying to help him out with matters of romance. But about the only way I could see them improving things here would be to not go on a wild goose chase around town trying to find him, and instead just, checking the most obvious places first. I mean, they literally missed him in the barn there by like 2 seconds at most. It's like, you were that close. Stop being so impatient. But no, in the end, one way or another, all of them had really the best intentions, and it was simply a matter of a lot of poor timing and flawed execution of these various plans that made everything go wrong. You can point fingers all you want, but I really feel like this is just one of those situations where, without the benefit of third-party perspective like we have to see everything that was playing out there, there's really no way they could have known what was going to happen, and thus it's really hard to fault them for not behaving any differently than they did, except for maybe Discord and the Apple Monster. that was a little overboard, but then again, it's Discord, and like he says, but you expect that of me. I mean, he's got a bit of a valid point there. But of course, any of these reasons didn't really matter to Big Mac, because it was ultimately just yet another in a long line of disappointments in his relationship with Sugar Belle that he had to now deal with. Between the competition with Featherbangs that he dealt with a while back, and the misunderstanding that also almost made him break up with Sugar Belle, and who knows what else may have happened along the way off screen that we never saw, he wanted this one thing of all things to finally go right, and understandably so. To make matters worse, he wanted their love to be just as special as his parents' love was, which is admirable, but a pretty high bar to reach. But as Sugar Belle pointed out, things weren't perfect for them either, not even close. They were practically tormented by their love for each other due to the long-standing feud going on between their families, which ultimately resulted in tearing Pear Butter away from her own family in order to be with Bright Mac. Sure, it's easy to look at that situation and appreciate how strong their love must have been for them to actually do that, but it's a lot harder to think about what it was like for them to actually endure such a tragedy on the way to that conclusion. You know, the fact of the matter is, life very frequently does not go as planned, no matter how much time and effort you spend trying to make the most bulletproof plans that you possibly can. Sure, it's disappointing when things don't work out exactly the way that you wanted, but sometimes things need to go a little sideways in order for even better things to happen that you never could have seen coming or planned for. And if you dwell too much on what went wrong, you might miss out on the good things that happened despite that. If either Big Mac or Sugar Belle had managed to pull off their plans, or even both of them succeeded, then yeah, it's entirely possible that their proposal would have been an incredibly, perfect romantic moment. But what actually happened in the end, in my mind, is even better. They ended up stepping away from all the chaos unfolding in town there to have a little private moment together out on the farm near their parents' tree, no less, which was the perfect setting for their special moment. Also, Big Mac got to talk a little bit and express a feeling that's been bothering him all this time and likely would have continued to bother him long after the proposal had it not been shared and addressed by Sugar Belle. She pointed out to him that love isn't about making everything just perfect. Rather, it's about enduring any hardships together that life throws your way. The apple and pear trees that Bright Mac and Pear Butter planted are much stronger together than if they had grown up separate from each other. They have become two parts of a whole that is much greater than the sum of its parts. Together they can support each other and withstand much greater hardships than if they were alone. This realization was exactly what the two of them needed right at that moment, as it firmly established that the two of them are meant for each other and that they are ready to be together from now on. The perfect proposal is, if such a thing even exists, is never the same for two different couples, because everyone is unique and every situation is unique. In this case, for these two particular ponies, this right here, this was the perfect proposal, disasters and all. Of course, I would never wish such, disasters and hardships or anything on anyone, but life just isn't perfect, and in all honesty, if something hadn't gone wrong like this, I would be rather scared because that would have been a little bit too perfect. Overcoming hardships builds character and strengthens relationships, and I think what these two learned there in that moment will be a solid foundation upon which their relationship will grow for the rest of their lives. Don't forget, you can't make diamonds without a lot of heat and pressure. And in the end, they did finally get married, which honestly I was a bit surprised to see because I thought at the point of the proposal and everything that we were at the end of the episode. Big surprise there. Very welcome surprise. And I really liked that the wedding was fairly small and simple because I don't think either one of them were really the type to want a big, elaborate wedding with tons of guests and everything. Especially after seeing how many times that their elaborate plans have backfired on them. The guests in attendance were the perfect choices, all the close friends and family of those two. Unfortunately, we never really got to meet any of Sugar Belle's family, but at least we got to see her old friends from our town one more time. And, quite frankly, this right here, this is the wedding that Bright Mac and Pear Butter deserved and never got to have. So I'm so very happy that the next generation got to do it right to honor them. And of course, it had to happen right in front of the tree because what better way for Bright Mac and Pear Butter to have a presence at this momentous occasion? And you know what? As cringy as Discord's singing apples were, they were, in his own way, about as much of a heartfelt wedding gift as he could give. And frankly, that was just as much of a sappy, romantic thing to do as what he was complaining about Big Mac doing earlier. So, all things considered, I'm happy that he got to be there to enjoy that experience with them. And yes, I had noted that I was kind of hoping, in terms of my wish list, that, if this episode ever happened, that we might get to see some more flashbacks to Bright Mac and Pear Butter. But in all honesty, I can see now that it wasn't necessary. And I'm not sad about it at all that we didn't get that. I think we got all the flashbacks we needed for them between the perfect pair and going to seed. This story here was all about Big Mac and Sugar Belle, and the tree itself was all the reference to them that we needed to make this the perfect wedding. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. This brings us up to the end of the season. Only the big finale is left now, and I can't wait to see what kind of epic twists and turns the writers have prepared for us. I have many theories, but my only real remaining wish at this point is for a happy ending for all. So join me again next time, hopefully very soon, as we witness the end of one of the greatest shows of all time. Later.